So looking forward to hearing from Aqua, from Mr. Simar Singh. We'll be hearing about cloud native incident response. So how we automate the many different, and good afternoon, wherever you are.
Hi, Simar.
Good morning for me. It's 6 a.m. I'm in Canada right now.
Fantastic. Thank you for getting up out of bed early to join us. It's very much appreciated. Would you like to share your screen, sir? And I'll get you all in the ready to go. There we go.
Just gonna make it bigger. All right, can you folks see the big presentation?
I think we can. Oh, it's just it's redrawing extremely slowly at the minute for some reason. There we go. Got there in the end. Fantastic. So the floor is yours.
All right. Hi, this is Simar. I work at Aqua, and I'll be talking about how you can automate incident response with Postee for cloud native risks. I was just listening to the last presentation, and then it was great to hear that security is people's problem first, and not a tech problem. That was great to hear. So I'll just be adding on that a little bit today. So just the brief agenda for today's talk will be some patterns that we see, challenges with those, and some solutions that I have, and a quick demo at the end. So we've all heard or overheard in the office or wherever we are that security is a requirement and not an option. And for that, we always end up running multiple scanning solutions. These are just some of them to list, but then you also in the morning wake up with this mailbox full of notifications, and then you start to realize what you signed up for. So alert fatigue is real. Nobody wants to see this. Everyone wants to strive for inbox, or at least I do. And this was very well documented in a PagerDuty blog. People who will know this better than anyone else. And they came up with some really good recommendations for what makes a good alert. And some of them I'll just summarize. Are a good alert. Let's say you're in the midnight, struggling midnight, and you just wake up with a page. Should be actionable. You should be able to know what to do with it. It should be descriptive, but most importantly, should go to the right people. You don't want to get a page for something that you have no control over or you don't know what to do. But what makes an ideal alert would be all that plus if it was automated. And now there are many definitions, and people go they make various definitions of like what it means to be automated. Some call it self-healing, some call it self-resolving, automated playbooks, whatever you might call it. But ideally, the alert should know what to do when it comes, or at least have a course of action before a human operator gets involved. Because as we all know, human time is expensive, and some of these alerts can get repetitive, especially if they are known to the person before it happened. So the title of my talk, SOAR with Postee, is actually an acronym which stands for Security Orchestration Automation Response. So for this talk, I'll be focusing on the automation and the response piece of Postee and what you can do today with it. So without further ado, I'll like to introduce Postee. What is Postee? Postee is essentially a message routing system. So it takes messages from one producer, operates over them, and then sends it out to a different consumer or a place that's listening for them. It is policy-based, so we use Rego to basically design our routing for all the messages that come in. So you can write your own policies depending on how you want these messages to be routed. And then most importantly, there is enforcement on alerts that you get. So you can essentially have what we call Postee Actions, depending on what you want to do to them. So I'll give some of those examples today, and we'll see a few demos of that as well. So this is a high-level overview. Don't be worried if you can't understand the details. But essentially, there are three parts to Postee. First is the input, which is essentially where all the production of messages happens. So this could be any producer of messages, could be your monitoring app, could be your application itself, could be anything. And then the second is the process, which is Postee itself. So this is where your policy-based routing comes in. Messages are sent, they're templated out before they're sent to external applications, and basically the whole engine, the policy engine lives within this process. And the last bit is execution, so where the messages are actually sent out from Postee to other applications. So we wanted this experience of using Postee be as seamless as possible with our existing apps. So Tracee is a vulnerability scanner that you can use today to scan a bunch of images or other artifacts, and Tracee is a runtime protection scanner that you can set up on your machine and have runtime alerts come to you. So today, Postee and Tracee and Postee and Tracee work seamlessly together, and that's not to say that these are the only things that work together. These are just some of the examples I'll be giving today to showcase how Postee can help you automate the risks that you have. So you can have any producer again, and then Postee and that producer can talk over a webhook and work alongside each other. So for example, Postee and Tracee can work like this. So Tracee, as I mentioned, runs on the host. It basically monitors for any runtime alerts that you may have while you're using your system or your node. And Tracee will basically observe this behavior using eBPF technology, and then generate an event and send it out to a consumer like Postee. So Postee gets that, and then this is where the enforcement or the Postee actions happen, where Postee you can tell Postee what to do when a certain kind of event happens. So for instance, you can have a process be terminated if it's doing malicious activity, for example, and Postee can enforce that on the node after it receives the event from Tracee. So very quick demo. On the right side of the screen, you can see the configuration of Postee. It's basically a YAML file you can configure with certain rules. So the input that you see there is actually a Rego policy. It's a very simple Rego policy that looks for a certain signature. And I'm going to start Postee, and it's going to start listening for requests. In the middle, I'll start Tracee, which is basically running as a Docker container. And then I'm going to specify the output to go into a webhook, which is the webhook where Postee is listening. So then Tracee is going to start up. It's going to start looking at stuff. And this is just a test instance. So right away, you can see that there was, the Kubernetes service account token was accessed. And then Postee took that and sent it over to a webhook, because that was one of the outputs that we configured Postee to do. So you can see all the historical events that have come in the past as well. This is just a way to look at them, and this is the actual output of the Tracee event that has come in. So these are all the details that the producer that has sent us, in this case Tracee, and Postee has forwarded them to a webhook. So that's one.
Simar, we're just having some slight problems with your screen not updating. Can you just try unsharing and resharing again?
Okay.
If that fixes it. I just didn't want to carry on. Just super slow updating for some reason.
Is it?
Do you want to try sharing it, and if I just remove it from there and unshare and reshare? Otherwise, we may well just have to accept it. But
All right. I try resharing right now. Just is it updated?
Okay. I'm not sure whether it's your connection or whether it's PowerPoint or yeah, it's still super slow updating.
Yeah, it's that's unfortunate. I'm trying to see what my screen is showing right now in the presenter pane. Yeah, it is really slow. I can see that too. Let me see if I could try something else really quickly here. 1 second. Sorry about that. 1 second. I'll try to share the slides from StreamYard. That will help. It will not let me because of size is more than 50 megabytes. That's unfortunate. Okay. We'll try to see what I can do here.
Simar, it did seem to work whenever something was updating, so I don't know whether you can bring the terminal window up and just drag it around so it senses the refresh. Try that.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just go. Yeah, every time I change a slide, it's for some reason it's very slow to update. Yeah, not sure what's going on. Try a different screen maybe. Is that any better? I'm not sure. Like, is it updating better now than before?
Yeah, that seems to be a lot better. I don't know what it'll be like with the terminal window.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll say what we can. I'll just start at this slide. I was saying Postee and Tracee can work together, and then Postee is just one of the producers that Tracee can. Tracee is just one of the producers that Postee can use. Tracee is powered by UPF. It can generate events when it sees malicious behavior. These events can be sent to Postee, and then Postee can act upon them in any way. So, for example, if you tell Postee to terminate any process that is malicious that is observed by Tracee, you can do that, or other things as well. In the interest of time, I'll skip over and talk about Tracee and Postee. So Tracee is a vulnerability scanner that can scan your images, other artifacts, and then these reports that Tracee and this output that Tracee has can be sent to Postee, and then Postee can take actions like, if the base image is vulnerable, it can update that. if you want to remove that image altogether from your cluster, you can do that as well. So essentially, it's all in your hands. What actions, quote unquote, you want to do with Postee. So this is where the automation piece happens for Postee. So if there are things that happen very often, like for example, you think that you scan images often, and then you expect them to be vulnerable. As vulnerabilities happen over time, one common action could be update that image that is vulnerable, or issue a Jira ticket, for instance. We have several integrations for Postee that come out of the box. For example, sending messages in Slack, or Microsoft Teams, or creating a Jira ticket, or any webhook that might be listening. So some of those I was going to demo in the slides today, of how you can basically take an event, create a Jira ticket out of it, so that the operator can come tomorrow morning and doesn't have to be woken up at midnight to handle the alert. So you can create a ticket, they can come take a look at tomorrow morning and act appropriately. So the scan results, for instance, can be sent as the content of a Jira ticket to Jira, and we can take a look at what happened when you were trying to scan that. So in the interest of time, let me just quickly check how much is left. Well, I'm already past it. So, these projects that I mentioned today are all open source. Postee, Tracee, and Trivy. We welcome your contributions, and we look forward to hearing from you if you have any ideas, or if there are integrations that you'd like to build. As I mentioned, Postee works with any producer. It just listens on a webhook. So anything that any producer wants to send to it, it can handle. And that's about it. Thank you for listening, and sorry about the share.
Thanks for that. So I'm sorry about the technical problems there. We'll get one of the team to reach out to you, and maybe we can record your talk again, so that we can get it on YouTube with the demos and stuff in it. I know I was super interested in all those projects, so I would like to see it in its full glory. But thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been an early start for you, but well, I'll get one of the team to reach out to you behind the scenes, and we'll see if we can get that talk added.
Thank you for having me.